For the second time in a month, Vincent Lamont Martin was supposed to walk free. And for the second time in a month, it didn't happen. That's because the Inspector General's office is conducting their own investigation into how the parole board handled this case.
Another day that fellow can stay in jail.
At 86, Patrick Connors says he's too old to mince words.
The guy killed my son, and he didn't have to shoot him in the head. He had him down. What the hell more did he want to do? He just wanted to empty the gun into the kid, and I don't know why.
The father of Michael Patrick Connors, a 23-year-old Richmond police officer executed in the line of duty by Vincent Lamont Martin on November 13th of 1979, has never done an interview about the murder, but says it's time for others, especially Virginia's parole board, to hear his voice.
Here's a kid, never worked a day in his life. What the hell is he going to do when he gets out? I mean, what talent does this guy have, but he able to handle a gun?
Martin was scheduled to be released from prison Monday, about 1 month after former state parole board chair Adrian Bennett and 3 others voted to set him free. However, shortly after the vote, complaints that the board had not followed the letter of the law came pouring in, particularly when it came to keeping the victims' families informed. Richmond's Commonwealth's attorney Colette McEachin sending a letter to the new board chair Tracy Chapman asking her to rescind the decision to let Martin go. The Connors family telling me Bennett's press release last month defending the board's ruling was devastating.
The former chairman of the parole board has reportedly justified this action by saying that Mr. Martin did not receive a fair trial and that he has been a model prisoner. That floored us. I tell you, that broke our heart. How can this woman justifiably say this when this man shot my son?
Over the past 40 years, the grief comes in waves for the Connors family. They're often left thinking about what could have been. Now fresh on their mind is a probe that has been launched by the state's official watchdog, the Office of the State Inspector General. It's an investigation that CBS 6 was first to report. And Virginia's Public Safety Secretary says it is the reason Martin's release has been placed on hold.
There have been a number of concerns raised by the Connors family, by the Richmond Police Department, by the local Commonwealth's attorney. And because of those, I believe there has now been a independent investigation begun. And as reported by a local television station last week, parole board became aware of it. And in light of an independent investigation into the process by which the parole board made that determination, they have determined to put it on hold temporarily. This will allow the removal of the cloud that has formed over this parole decision.
Tanya Chapman, the new state parole board chair, saying in a statement, it is prudent to put a temporary hold on the Martin case or the Martin release for a period not to exceed 30 days pending the conclusion of the OIG's investigation. Working for you on the city's south side tonight, John Burkett, CBS 6 News.
John. Virginia appears to be making progress in the fight against the coronavirus. Governor Ralph Northam says the Commonwealth is on track to partially reopen Friday despite challenges in Northern Virginia. He said this afternoon that a final decision about reopening will likely come on Wednesday. Northam says PPE supply, hospital capacity, and a 14-day decline in the percentage of positive test and hospitalization rates are trending in the right direction to begin phase 1. However, he added the metrics in Northern Virginia aren't being met, so that region will delay implementation of phase 1. Northam also mentioned he is extending the order that closed all DMV offices for at least 1 more week. Online services are still available.
The number of confirmed coronavirus cases in the Commonwealth has risen as health officials are ramping up testing statewide. Let's take a look at the latest numbers now from the Department of Health. Virginia has passed 25,000 positive cases after nearly 1,000 tests came back positive in the last 24 hours. 850 people have now died from the virus. 3,300 Virginians have been hospitalized since the start of the outbreak. But the Virginia Hospital and Healthcare Association reports more than 3,200 have recovered and been discharged. New at 11, doctors say fear of the coronavirus could inadvertently cause outbreaks of other highly contagious diseases, including measles. Our Tracy Sears has a warning from pediatricians tonight.
I'm just getting myself started.
6-year-old Bella is up to date on all her vaccinations. A relief to her mom, as a doctor's office is the last place they want to be right now.
Unless it was something absolutely necessary, but no, not for a well visit.
The sentiment is felt by parents across the Commonwealth as the coronavirus pandemic has caused fear about going to the hospital or a doctor's office. But now pediatricians are fearful, as a recent survey of more than 100 pediatric providers shows that infant vaccination rates have decreased by 30% since early March. Adolescent vaccinations are down by 76%.
There are approximately 100,000 infants less than the age of 1 year in the Commonwealth of Virginia. So to see a 30% drop in that age group could have drastic ramifications.
Dr. Eric Freeman with Old Dominion Pediatrics says that could make children and adolescents vulnerable to diseases like whooping cough, bacterial meningitis, and measles.
When there is any delay in terms of vaccines for children, you can't ensure that you still have adequate immunity or protection against a certain vaccine preventable disease. So I would encourage any parent at least to give their pediatrician a call.
Pediatrician Dr. Mark Shreve with Pediatric Associates of Richmond says his office has taken every precaution to try and reassure parents during this pandemic.
All pediatricians have made their offices so safe for kids to come in for these vaccines and for these checkups. We do parking lot waiting rooms so people come in one at a time. We're all wearing masks.
Outside of vital doctor's visits, Drs. Shreve and Freeman still advocate social distancing and not leaving home unless necessary. Advice many parents, like Andrea Williams, are happy to follow.
We're still kind of playing it on the precautious route and staying home unless we really need to.
In Chesterfield County, Tracy Sears, CBS 6 News.
Governor Northam also says you should not postpone your doctor's visits. If you have questions about how to stay safe when you go, you should join our Facebook discussion. Ariba Hollingsworth, along with Dr. Danielle Vula, the director of the Richmond and Henrico Health Districts, will be joined by the medical directors of Bon Secours, VCU Health, and HCA. They will be taking part in a healthcare town hall to talk about what steps are being taken to protect patients from COVID-19 at the doctor's office, and they'll be answering your questions. When you join us tomorrow afternoon at 12:30 on the CBS 6 Facebook page.
We are just days from when Governor Northam hopes Virginia will enter phase 1 of reopening the state. He says testing is the key to doing so, but Virginia's coronavirus testing rate continues to be one of the worst in the nation. That's according to the Johns Hopkins Coronavirus Resource Center. In the past, state officials have blamed a lack of personal protective equipment and testing supplies for those low numbers. Yet we spoke to the head of a Northern Virginia lab who says she's got 3,000 testing kits in a warehouse and says the state has known about them since late March.
If you had these testing kits on hand that included the nasal swabs, et cetera, and you had made the state aware of that, then why did they not take advantage of the supplies that you have?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Tomorrow night at 11, Problem Solvers investigator Melissa Hippolyte asked the state why they opted not to use the testing kits when they were in desperate need of supplies. Hear the governor's answer when Melissa asked him directly why our testing rate continues to lag nearly every other state.
Governor Northam is encouraging absentee voting for the upcoming elections. The deadline to request a mail-in ballot is quickly approaching. If you plan to vote for the May elections, your request is due tomorrow. The deadline to register to vote for the June primary election is May 26th, and the deadline to request a ballot through the mail for the June election is June 16th. Election officials in Richmond, Chesterfield, and Petersburg are all seeing a surge of absentee ballot requests. If you plan to vote in person, make sure you know what's on your ballot. Not every jurisdiction is holding an election. Also, make sure you know where your polling place is located and wear a mask for added protection. Officials tell us you can expect to see some safety measures in place and social distancing enforced.
We have ordered PPE supplies for all of the officers working at the polling places. We're also making sure that in instructing the officers. They know to clean after each voter comes in to vote, and trying to get out information to voters as to what to expect on Election Day. We will be limiting the number of people allowed inside the polling place at any one time, just to make sure we keep the social distancing.
You can find registration, poll location information, and see what's on your ballot by visiting elections.virginia.gov. Our COVID-19 complete coverage continues on WTVR.com, and make sure to download the free CBS 6 app to get breaking news and updates sent right to your phone. Zach?
All right, another chilly night underway right now. Not going to be as cold as it was over the weekend, but cold enough in some areas to support a killing frost. Let me show you what it looks like outside right now. The current temperature in Richmond, well above freezing. We're at 49 degrees, and I don't expect a frost here in town. It's 48 over in Hanover. It's currently down to 42 out in Louisa. Now, you guys are under the frost advisory out there in areas back to the north and west. Our sky condition right now is now clear. We had a few fair weather clouds during the day today. Those are now gone. And around the region, it's very quiet as high pressure has settled into the area behind a cold front that moved through earlier today. That was why we had the wind, was that colder air mass and drier air mass moving in to the region. All right, here is the frost advisory for tonight. All counties there in the light blue, so it includes Goochland County as well as Louisa and Fluvanna counties, and up into Spotsylvania County, and then points north and west of there. And along the Blue Ridge and west is another freeze warning. Here's your forecast for tomorrow. Aside from the cold start, it's going to be another gorgeous day. We'll have partly cloudy skies to mostly sunny skies. Kind of depends on when you're outside. It's kind of like today, and temperatures once again will make it into the mid 60s. And as cool as it is on the front end of the forecast, the big news is how hot it's going to be getting by the upcoming weekend. I'll talk about that in a few minutes.
Thank you, Zach. A 73-year-old local veteran reached out to the CBS 6 Problem Solvers, and his story quickly got our attention. He told us he's not been getting his retirement benefits because the Army thought he was dead. Our Bree Season is working on his bills.
All right, buddy. Come on.
Oh, look what was spotted galloping through the streets of Richmond. How officers were able to safely catch this calf.
Virginia has one of the worst coronavirus testing rates in the country. The governor blames a shortage of supplies. But weeks into the pandemic, the state is just now figuring out which labs can run tests. One says they've had 3,000 tests waiting in a warehouse.
If you had these testing kits on hand and you made the state aware of that, why did they not take advantage?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Melissa Hippolyte investigates, Tuesday at 11.
At Atlantic Union Bank, making things easier for you has never been more important. So here's what that means. Pull up to our drive-thru, where service meets safety. With debit card controls, turn your personal card off if you suspect fraud, then turn it back on when everything's okay. And remember our free identity theft resolution services, because hackers never rest. Just a few ways we make banking easier. Learn more at AtlanticUnionBank.com.
Across America, business owners are figuring things out, finding new ways to serve customers, connect employees, and work with partners. Comcast Business is right there with you, with a network that helps give you speed, reliability, and security, and enough bandwidth to handle all your connected devices. Voice solutions like remote call forwarding and readable voicemail, and safe, convenient installation. When every connection counts, you can count on us. Get the connectivity your business needs. Call today. Comcast Business.
Coming together makes us stronger, and Ford is built to lend a hand. Contact your Ford dealer, an essential part of your community, to find out more about home delivery and other vehicle service options. After all, you have a lot to take care of. Let us help take care of you. Find out more at Ford.com. Now get 0 for 84 on F-150 and Ranger, or 0 for 60 on Super Duty, all with 3 months deferred payments. Call us to learn more about our touchless pickup and delivery options.
With my hepatitis C, I felt I couldn't be at my best for my family. In only 8 weeks with Maverit, I was cured.
I faced reminders of my Hep C every day.
I worried about my Hep C.
But in only 8 weeks with Maverit, I was cured.
Maverit is the only 8-week cure for all types of Hep C.
Before starting Mavyret, your doctor will test if you've had hepatitis B, which may flare up and cause serious liver problems during and after treatment. Tell your doctor if you've had hepatitis B, a liver or kidney transplant, other liver problems, HIV-1, or other medical conditions, and all medicines you take. Don't take Mavyret with anizanavir or rifampin, or if you've had certain liver problems. If you've had or have serious liver problems other than Hep C, there's a rare chance they may worsen. Signs of serious liver problems may include yellowing of the skin, abdominal pain or swelling, confusion, and unexplained bleeding or bruising. Tell your doctor if you develop symptoms of liver disease. Common side effects include headache and tiredness.
With Hep C behind me, I feel free.
Fearless, because I am cured.
If you can't afford your medicine, AbbVie may be able to help.
CBS 6 Sky Tracker, sponsored by JES Foundation Repair.
Bills are piling up for a veteran in Richmond who hasn't received his retirement pay in months. Our problem solver Bree Season worked to find out why, and she joins us now live from her home. Bree?
Candace, the Defense Finance and Accounting Service has written a letter to Warren Holmes, and it was delivered to his address, and it said they thought he was dead. Warren says that he tried to call DFAS to straighten it all out, but no one would talk to him because he couldn't answer security questions that were given to him decades ago. Warren Holmes served in the United States Army from 1968 to 1988 and says he's never had an issue receiving retirement checks. He tells the problem solvers no one at DFAS would tell him why he was reported deceased.
They said they couldn't talk to me. So that's when I got you involved. And right after you got involved, they called me about a week, not quite a week later, told me how sorry they were and that my money would be here.
Holmes tells us he had a savings account that helped tie him over in the months without a check, but now he'll have to catch up on things like health insurance premiums and his phone bill. A representative for DFAS could only tell us that they are working with Mr. Holmes. The problem solvers have helped our viewers with more than $100,000 in surprise bills. Tell us about your situation by visiting WTVR.com/yourbill. Working for you, Bree Season, CBS 6 News.
Indeed, Mr. Holmes is very much alive. Thank you, Bree. A scene perhaps out of the TV show Rawhide unfolded in the River City over the weekend. Police found a cow wandering a Richmond neighborhood. Actually, it was a calf discovered Saturday, galloping more or less, if cows can actually do that, down Barton Avenue, sometimes stopping periodically to eat a little grass. Neighbors helped animal control officers box the animal in an alleyway, and then an officer managed to throw a lasso, that might have been a little much, around its neck.
To live in a farm, 32 acres with other cows, where she will be a pet. She will not be eaten. She will not be a milk cow.
Yeah, you probably could have just walked up and put the rope around. At any rate, this afternoon, Buttercup's new owners from New Kent picked her up and took her home. Glad to see she made it safe and is going to live a nice life.
Hey, it's not every day that a calf is walking down the street. He wanted to practice his lasso.
Because you never know. The next one might be a full-grown cow that goes a mile and a half an hour. So let's check in now with Zach in the Backyard Weather Center and find out about this cool weather and then the heat wave.
That's right. Another cold night tonight. It's not going to be as cold as it was this weekend where we had widespread freezes, but chilly enough for the frost and freeze headlines to continue. And then, of course, we're talking about the whole other end of the spectrum with the heat headed our way. All right, let's check out how we did for today, and then we will get to all of this. This morning's low was 49. The high temperature this afternoon, 67 degrees. It was another gorgeous spring day. This has been quite a spring, a long spring for us here. The nicest one I think that I've ever been a part of in 13 years here in Richmond. 49 is our current temperature. A northeast wind at 13 miles per hour continues to bring in that cooler and drier air. Other temperatures across Virginia, mostly in the 40s. A few exceptions. It's 51 in Kilmarnock, down to 39 already, dropping quickly out in Louisa. All right, a frost advisory tonight north and west of Richmond. A big warm up this week with a little bit of an increase in humidity as well by the weekend. And the rain chances will be low, but a little bit higher this weekend. I think our best rain chances over the next week will come a week from today. All right, very quiet across the area right now. Skies have cleared out. Looking back to the west, there's not much going on at all. It is just a pretty quiet period that we have with high pressure settling on in. Frost advisory again, Spotsylvania County through Louisa County, Goochland, and Fluvanna, points to the north and west. Lows tonight. Lots of 30s, a couple low to mid 40s, but most of us in the 30s, above freezing though here in Richmond. And then highs tomorrow back up into the low and mid 60s. So another very pleasant spring day. No chance of rain tomorrow. 60 by noon, a high of 65, and west-northwesterly winds a little lighter than today at 5 to 15 miles per hour. Not much to show you at all in terms of our clouds and precipitation over the next several days, so we're going to skip right past that and get into the real story, which is the heat that's going to be building in. It's the heat that so far we have dodged this spring, but it's coming at us big time as we get into late week. So this big trough we have in the east is going to be pushed out by a ridge coming in from the west, and that will develop across the area, and it's going to push our temperatures into the